Real Country 1430 AM and 107.3 FM WRDN. Brian Winnikins from World Dairy Expo. And thank you to our Expo sponsors, including Compeer Financial, Osteoplastics, UtterTech, Synergy Co-op, Olson Farm Services, Wisconsin Corn Growers Association, Wisconsin Soybean Marketing Board, and, of course, the Farm First Dairy Cooperative, and that is where we're at. And I'm with Sara Sarbacker, and from Farm First, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things going on with the co-op. And obviously, Sara, when you've been talking with farmers here, the 800-pound gorilla in the room, the federal milk market order.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely something that we've been monitoring closely. We've been very involved with and trying to educate our members on what's going on with the modernization with the orders.
You've had a chance to take a look at it, and I know the co-op's taken a look at it. I mean, are there things in there you like that you don't like, that you have concerns of for the co-op?
We like most of it, and as we have been going through this and going through the proposals in the hearing, a lot of what was proposed and what the recommendations are in line with National Milk Producers Federation and their recommendations, which we were proponents for. A lot of that's really been included in the recommendations. There are the make allowances, for instance, they came back a little bit higher with what the recommended make allowances are in that document than what National Milk proposed. But they are lower than what a lot of the processors were requesting and asking for. So they kind of met in the middle there a little bit. But all in all, I think it's we really think that it's good what the recommendations are that they came back with.
Is there also in the recommendations to review this more than once every quarter of a century?
There are parts in there that part of what was proposed and some of the proposals was to really revisit this on a scheduled time frame. That didn't get put in there for certain things, so that's a bit of a concern. But I think the other good things that are in the recommendations definitely outweigh that.
Talking with Sara Sarbacker with the Farm First Dairy Cooperative. I had a chance to talk with Sara during the World Dairy Expo. So how are things going with the co-op? What are some of the other things happening with the co-op right now?
Sure, things are going great with the co-op. We're just working on right now getting geared up for our district meetings that are coming up this fall. And that's where we will elect leadership positions as far as delegates, board of directors, DNR committee positions for the next year. So we're getting ramped up for those. We have 16 district meetings that will happen throughout our membership area, which is 7 states in the upper Midwest. So we're getting ready for that.
Got your suitcase ready?
Yes.
I bet you do. I thought I had a lot of meetings coming up. Oh, boy. But this is also these district meetings, not only for the election, though. This is a chance for farmers to really, and members to talk about issues that are important to them in regards to the co-op.
Absolutely, and we give them some information on what's been going on in the co-op in the past year. They can ask us questions. They can connect with their field reps who are at these different meetings, and they can ask questions, learn more about what the co-op's doing for them. So they're definitely very informational. They get a good meal, and we get to connect with them.
I know one of the other, you do a lot of the policy advocating, of course, but you also do a lot of test verification. Explain that for those that may not be familiar with that.
Right, so we're a test verification co-op. So we are not actually taking and making a product out of milk. So we're the test verification portion of our cooperative is where our members are shipping to proprietary plants. So we're making sure that their testing that's done on their components and on their milk is accurate, and we're verifying that.
Also, too, while you're not, a processor, so to speak, but you're still actively engaged in wanting to move product and exports, and for any milk coming out of the Farm First Dairy system, all those 7 states, if it's going to somewhere else that's not in the co-op, that's exports, in my opinion. That's another part of the co-op, though, and very important part, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely work on making sure that we promote the industry as a whole. That's one thing about Farm First is that we get down to the farm level. So we're not just in DC doing policy work. We're also supporting our members on the farm for their farm tours, local dairy promotion. So we're really from the farm gate all the way up to the hill.
And with and you talk, when you've talked with farmers, of course, the federal milk market order, like we just talked about, is important. But are there other issues are they really concerned too about this stalemate on the farm bill?
I haven't heard a lot from members in particular about that. I think they kind of know, okay, yeah, this has kind of been status quo for the last how many farm bills that it's not going to be in place when you would think it would be. I mean, this is what happens, and it's been a little bit longer of an extension than we've seen with recent ones, but I think they know what's going on. I haven't heard a lot talk about the farm bill recently. I think some of it is this election we've got coming up, so a lot of people are focused on that, and then a lot of guys are, especially right now, people are in the fields trying to get stuff harvested, and milk price. They're obviously that's their main concern right now is on my farm, making ends meet, looking at their milk price and what they're getting on their milk check.
You mentioned, harvest is going on. I mean, we've had here in Wisconsin now, last couple of weeks, it's been like, oh my word, you couldn't ask for, I guess, better weather if you needed to get into the fields, even though it's been very dry. But boy, Minnesota at times had some pretty severe weather. South Dakota. I mean, have you talked with some of the Farm First members in those areas that have had some really wild weather, how they're doing?
Yeah, and I think it's kind of spot. I mean, it depends on where you're at. So even I live near Mount Horeb, which is not far from Madison here. And just a week or two ago, I did talk to a farmer friend of mine actually yesterday who there was a big pocket of hail near us that wiped out a bunch of beans that were ready to be harvested. So it depends on what area you're in. So a lot of different people having a lot of different experiences with the weather. But yeah, it's definitely been a crazy weather year.
So if farmers wanting to find out more about some of the things Farm First does, how can they find out more?
Go to our website, farmfirstdairycooperative.com, or give us a call. Our number's on the website as well. Give us a call. We can hook you up with who your field rep would be and go from there.
Sarah Sarbacker with the Farm First Dairy Cooperative. From World Dairy Expo, I'm Brian Winnikins for WRDN.